We hope.
We hope we're live. Are we talking to people out there? Well, it's good to see you this morning. Glad that you're here with us. I hope that you're having a very comfortable morning and that you are ready for to talk about some interesting and good things today. We're going to start with a prayer. So we invite you to just take in a good breath and just breathe for a moment and just let everything else go. The cares and concerns of the world, the cares and concerns of the snow and the ice. And we just release all of that into divine order. We release it into the hands of divinity. We know that we are just fine as we are. And so let us breathe easy into the moment. And we just claim divine blessing. We just claim God's good for all of us. And we are grateful for all of our community, for our safety, for our well-being. We're grateful for each other. In the name of the Christ, in the name of all that is sacred, holy, and beautiful, and good. And so it is. All right. All right, Leah's got the daily word for us.
Yeah, I'm going to read the daily word, and then I'm going to switch over and deal with Facebook for a few minutes, make sure that we're working over there. So, this morning's daily word is a zeal. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote in his 94th year,
Wow.
I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. His example shows me that regardless of my age or station in life, zeal is a divine gift, a part of me, always mine to call upon. Through it, I feel enthusiastic and energetic about life. I express joy and excitement as I live, love, and share of myself through service. I am purposeful, passionate, and positive. I live authentically and make a bold impression on the world. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Make a bold impression on the world.
Bold impression.
I share my talents and gifts with a spirit of generosity and service. I begin each day with eagerness and end it with gratitude, happy to share my zeal. And Kayla just gave me a thumbs up that appears to be okay on Facebook.
Oh,
so
good.
Thank you, Kayla.
Yeah. We're on the website, we're on Facebook, and we're streaming through YouTube as well. So
we've been talking about the invisible agreements, and
hang on just a second.
yeah.
Hang on for just a short interruption.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yep.
I hope that you have your own good cup of tea, coffee, or hot water and lemon, whatever you do. We've got ours today, and it tastes really good. It's extra good today for some reason. You know, when it's cold outside, something hot just is really nice.
Yes.
Anyway,
I made soup yesterday and put it in the refrigerator, so we're going to have good hot soup after.
We'll have some good hot soup
for lunch.
Beautiful.
All right.
So a man returns home from a long business trip to find the house spotless, his children sitting quietly doing homework, and his wife smiling at the door with a glass of wine and his favorite steak dinner. After a perfect evening of affection, peace, and quiet, he looks at her and says, I can't believe how much you've changed. I'm the luckiest man alive. She blushes and whispers, That's so sweet, but who are you and why are you in my house?
Okay.
I'm assuming that there's
right.
a chuckle out there, that there's smiles on people's faces today.
Okay.
But, you know. All right. Yeah, let's get into
So now we're ready to proceed.
Now we're ready.
So we titled this series on the 5 basic unity principles, the invisible agreements. And we've covered the first 3, and so this morning we're going to be discussing the invisible agreement of aligning with Spirit through prayer and meditation. And Unity Principle number 4 states, through prayer and meditation, we align our consciousness and subconscious mind with God, shaping our inner life and outer experiences. So,
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. In
It is
fact,
good.
they're all good, because they're universal and they're principles of life. It's how life works. That's what a principle is. And so there is power in these invisible agreements. Prayer is not about persuading God. It's about agreeing with the truth, right? Soren Kierkegaard said, prayer does not change God. Prayer changes us.
yeah.
Every prayer is an invisible agreement. It's an agreement with fear or with faith, with limitation or possibility, with appearances or spiritual truth. We are always in agreement with or in oneness with something. There's always something that we are giving our mental assent and our power to. And so it's very important that you align yourself with the all-loving goodness of God, with divinity. Because that's what prayer really is. Prayer is not just saying, hey God, here's my laundry list. Fix this, fix her, fix him, fix them. Change everything out here. That's not really how prayer works. Prayer works through agreement with divinity.
So can we just touch briefly
Sure.
on, so last week we talked about, the creation, that we're creative beings.
Right.
And we discussed how to create a world that works for everyone. So I was just thinking, as you're talking about, we're always agreeing with something,
Yeah,
even collectively,
that's true.
we're always agreeing on something. That's why it's so important to lend our creative thinking space. And we talked about last week that not every thought that comes through your mind is the thought that gets manifested.
Right.
It's the thoughts that we hold on to and that we chew on and we ruminate on. And so it's really important collectively to hold on to and chew on and ruminate on manifesting peace.
Yeah.
A world that works for everyone.
Right.
I was just
right.
thinking that how that is, sometimes we and it is important that we take this individually, of course.
Yeah.
But let's also apply it collectively to what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Creating a world that works for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Because Rumi said, in the silence, the soul hears. Okay? And so it is the silence that is part of prayer. When we come from that deep space of quiet within ourselves, then we are in communion and connection with Spirit. We are in union with, we are one with Spirit. And when we pray from that place, Jesus said that you will have whatever you ask for, it will be given to you, right? It will manifest, it will come to you, you'll attract it, it'll come in. But when we pray from the ego mind, the persona, and we say, oh, give me this, give me that, I want this, I want that, without making the connection. It's not that we're not always connected. We are always connected to divinity. But in our minds, we're not always connected. In our minds, we flitter around here, there, and everywhere, And so that's why it's important to get quiet, to quiet the mind, to go inside, to find that still point, that centered space, and so that when you pray, you've stilled the noise of the outer world. See, the world is very noisy, and we are bombarded daily with all kinds of noise. Not just the noise that we hear in our ears, but the noise
Inner noise.
of mental clutter and
Yeah.
confusion and words and oh, it's like this horrible snowstorm, ice storm is coming, and you better prepare or we're all gonna die. And sometimes we over sensationalize things, from the ego. We worry about a lot of things. And so we want to still that, we want to quiet that. Because when you pray from worry, what are you doing? You're sending worry vibes into the world, into your reality. Is that what you want to do? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. So maybe we start by talking just briefly about what prayer is not, because I think there's a lot of common misunderstandings that come
Yeah.
from our childhood, that come from society,
Right.
That come from our upbringing about what prayer is. And I know that for me, a lot of times, prayer was kind of like the last resort. You try everything else, you try to fix it yourself, and then the last thing you think to do is, to have a prayer.
Right.
Prayer is not about, it's not about being your last resort. It's about responding to things.
Right.
We've also seen prayer used as a bargaining chip.
I've done it myself.
Yes, we plead our case.
Yeah.
We try to bargain or even beg God to do certain things. We also think that answered prayer or unanswered prayer is somehow a test of whether we are worthy or not. And then what happens is those prayers that we send out there that are based in fear and worry, as you were saying, and not coming from that space of alignment,
Yeah.
may get answered, may not get answered. And then that affects how we treat prayer in the future, because we then have a tendency to go, oh, well, prayer doesn't work. I've prayed about things before and, it hasn't happened. And so, prayer doesn't
It becomes hit and miss.
Yeah. It's, So you have to understand that prayer is not about any of those things.
Yeah. It's not a let's make a deal with the deity. It's not
Let's make a deal.
That's right. It's not a test of your worthiness. If I was just worthy enough, or if I just had enough faith, or if I was just a better person, then maybe God would hear me, as if God has human ears.
Right.
God is spirit, and Jesus told us how to approach spirit. He said to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so what he was telling us, when you're in love with someone, you are in the spirit with them. They finish your sentences, They pick up on your energy, and they're very aware of you. And that's what loving God really is. It's just basically checking in with your with the Holy Spirit, checking in with the higher power, with the divine mind. Whatever name you want to use is fine, but it is agreeing with, being at one with, in union with. That's what love really is. Because when you're in love with somebody, you're in alignment with them. You work together. That's really a great symptom or evidence of love, is that you're in alignment with the other person.
Symptom of love?
A symptom of love, that's right. He's got the love symptoms.
So, if you remember, I think do we still have vending machines? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you remember, or vending machines, and you walk up to it, and a lot of times, a kid will come up to it and they'll put their money in it, and they'll make their selection, and if nothing comes out immediately, they'll start banging on the machine, or they'll start trying to rock it, and if that item gets hung up or it doesn't come out, then they just walk away upset and frustrated. And sometimes that's the way we treat the divine and the act of prayer. We think, we put our money in, we make our selection, and then when it doesn't happen, we rail, and then it's like, okay, well, I must not be worthy enough, or that didn't work right, or whatever the case may be, and we just walk away frustrated. Mm-hmm. So it's important to understand that God divine doesn't operate like a vending machine.
Well, prayer is not transactional.
Right.
It's transformational.
Yeah,
Get that? Good. It's not transactional. It's not like, all right, God, I'll do this for you if you do that for me. Yeah. And a lot of people think that's what love is, but love isn't that. Love is harmony. It's union.
So Charles Fillmore said that prayer is the most highly accelerated form of mind action.
Yeah, that's right.
No. What is mind action? What you think about comes about. Mm-hmm. So prayer is the most highly accelerated form of that. What you think about comes about.
Yeah, because you are in alignment with the universal presence. You're in alignment with divine order. You're in alignment with all that is. So that means you're not... See, when you're in love, when you're in union with divinity, you're also in union and harmony with nature and with your fellow human beings.
So if I sit down in a state of worry, and I'm not aligned,
right,
then the process of prayer is all about sitting in that space and meditating upon and affirming the things that I know to be the truth, so that I can get myself aligned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really what prayer is about, is sitting in that quiet space and cleaning your mind, getting all the junk out of there and replacing it with truth.
Yeah. Because what you want to do, you want to align your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. Okay? Mm-hmm. But it really starts with feelings, because all thoughts are attached to an emotion or a feeling. Mm-hmm. And because when you feel it, then you know that it is in expression. And so this establishes a mental and spiritual agreement. It's like you're signing a contract with divinity.
So if I don't do it in a mindful way, there's still an agreement. Yeah. It's just operating from worry and fear.
Right.
And
yeah, the more I worry, the more in agreement I become with worry.
With that thing, yeah.
The more practiced I am at worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I used to be an expert.
Yeah, you and me both. We both were really good at it, I've said this before, but in my family, we could worry the wallpaper off the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like it was an art form.
I saw a great sign on a church billboard one time that said, "Worry is a down payment on a debt you may not owe." And I've always remembered that.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
Yeah. So alignment with divinity activates divine law. It sets the principle into operation. Okay? You set it into operation when you are in that feeling aligned presence and mentally assenting to and believing in, then you activate the law. Because the law's there, but you activate it in a particular direction because you are at peace with yourself and you're praying from your state of being rather than praying from your circumstances. Uh-oh. Aha. That's a good one right there.
Yeah.
Most people are praying from their circumstances. Oh, this bad thing is happening. Please, God, take this away from me. Or I can't, tolerate this person anymore. Get them out of my life. Get me a new job. And all that does is just keep you in a state of wanting.
Yeah.
It keeps you in a state of neediness, and that you want more and more and more, and it doesn't come that way in a way that you really need it.
Yeah.
Right?
I was thinking that's one of the beautiful things about coming and sitting with one of the prayer chaplains on Sundays after service, is that you're in a certain state, but they're in a different state of being. And so when you sit with
Because
them,
they've been practicing.
yes, and so, and because they're not hooked into your experience and all of the feelings that it's bringing about. They're a not even neutral. They're a more positive feedback tool for you. So it's like when you sit with a prayer chaplain, you may be feeling all of that. They're not. They're coming from a space of connectedness and positivity, and they can help you remember truth. Remember who you are. Often at those times, I love somebody in my reading said, helping you remember who you are at a time when you can't do it for yourself.
Right.
We all need
Yeah.
somebody
Sure.
at times to help us remember.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I don't have to feel this way, or tell me the truth about, what is the truth, capital T, what is the truth about that thing?
Well, I think that's what community is all about, and that's what in the scriptures where it talks about pray one for another that you might be healed. Because what happens is we get out of our true nature, we get out of balance, we get out of alignment, and when we're out of alignment, then we have to be somewhere. So we typically go into worry and fear, because fear is the backdrop of our human lives many times. It's what we've learned. It's all that in the past, and it's easy to slip back into that if we're not careful. So if we have somebody that we can say, hey, will you pray with me? Will you help me, to feel my alignment, my oneness, my union with God. And then it's not so much about the drama that's taking place, because the drama settles down when you settle down. Isn't that interesting? It's like, even I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there have been times in my life where my computer's not working correctly. And then I get up and I trip over the cat, or I spill my drink.
Yeah.
Or I'm ready for lunch, but we can't have lunch now because of this and that. And I just feel out of alignment. I feel out of balance. And so the best thing you can do is stop.
Yes.
Relax. And breathe, right? And just be with yourself for just a few moments, just a couple of minutes. People think a lot of times, if I'm not meditating for 3 hours a day, I'm not very spiritual. Well, we're all spiritual. We are all of the Spirit. We are birthed of Spirit. Yeah. We are spiritual beings. It's just when you feed on the silence for just a few moments, and it changes your state of being. That's what you want. I don't want to focus so much on what's going on out there, because out there is a reflection of in here. Oh boy, did you get that? That out there reflects what's going on in here.
Yeah. So that brings up then the fourth principle is about prayer and meditation.
Yeah.
So the meditation part of that is where we can be in that stillness.
Yeah.
And it's the time when we're kind of getting our interior world ready to receive the affirmative words and
Well, meditation
the seeds.
prepares the soil, and prayer plants the seed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we prepare the soil through the quiet,
Yeah.
and then we plant the seed through our affirming, our positive affirmation of what we really believe, and through that alignment.
It's interesting. I was having a conversation with someone just the other day about that negative cycle, and how when something bad happens, and quote unquote bad negative happens, and you kind of get caught up in that, then the next thing you know, this happens, and it becomes that, instead of the synchronistic cycle of all the positive things happening, it's like the synchronistic cycle of all the negative stuff happening. And it's because of all the energy that is being generated that's negative.
We're energetic beings.
Yes. So the best way that you can deal with that is to stop and get quiet.
Right.
Because you have to get all of that stuff dealt with in here.
Yeah.
In order to change anything out here.
It's the settling process.
Yeah.
Settling into your life.
Yeah.
Rather than fighting with your life, rather than being angry about your life, settle into it in a more allowing state.
Yeah.
And you'll see the outward circumstances will begin to change and line up with what's going on the inside, because that's what they're already doing, right? But as you settle, then all the dust, whoop, all of the everything, just kind of, whew.
Yeah. I think for me, I can get so caught up in the exterior and get myself all emotionally charged on the interior that I can't see any answers to anything.
Yeah.
So I think when you sit in the quiet, it helps those divine ideas drop in, those solutions that we're not open to when we're so busy and occupied. And everybody, I think, finding, golly, even if it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Of
2 minutes.
Yeah, of just closing your eyes and getting still.
Yeah.
Is probably one of the best things you can do for yourself.
Because what you're doing is, Jesus said, if 2 or more agree concerning anything that they ask, they will have it. Now, so it's the agreement is where the power is. It's what you're agreeing with and what you're agreeing to. So many times in our lives, we have conscious thoughts and we have subconscious thoughts, okay? Just below the surface. And a lot of times it's the subconscious thought that is guiding us, and pushing us around and leading us around through all these different experiences that we have. And so it's important to allow those, yourself to settle, you quiet the conscious mind, and then what will happen is you'll naturally begin to have those things that are in your subconscious kind of float up to the surface. As a matter of fact, many times when I sit down and I get quiet, I notice that that's when my mind starts talking to me and says, oh, don't you remember that project you have to do? Don't you remember that email that you have to respond to? And so, and you know why all that shows up? Because it's the only time it can get to you and remind you that these things are important, that you need to do them. And so what you tell yourself is, okay, you just take a pen, you write it down, I'll answer that email today, I'll mow the grass, I'll shovel the sidewalk, whatever is happening, whatever I need to do, I'll do that later. But right now, I'm just settling. I'm just settling and centering and being, right? And let me tell you, there's nothing greater than being. A lot of times people are so into doing, but they forget that we're
Yeah.
not human doings, we're human beings.
Yeah.
You need to have time every day where you can just be, right?
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes these storms come, you know. That's why sometimes we have these experiences, because it makes us have to sit down and get still, right? And when we get still, then Spirit can talk to us. And we begin to remember all the things that are really important, that we want to do, that we need to do, and it will come.
Yeah.
But if your mind isn't a clear channel or pathway, then those things can't come. So you want to align your conscious mind with your subconscious mind. And if you've got some beliefs in there that need to be changed, they'll come up.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one will come up, and so you deal with that. It's important not to overwhelm yourself with all of your problems, you know, with all of your challenges. I've got so many things that I'm trying to, well, stop it, right? Yeah. Just stop it. Something comes up, you focus on that for just a moment. It's okay. That's something that I want to come into agreement with the greater reality, the greater principle, divine order, so that can kind of work itself out, you know, in me, through me, and around me. Mm-hmm. Wow. Isn't this a wonderful principle? Wouldn't it be great if we all just practice this on a regular basis? Yeah. I wonder what would happen if everybody did this.
It could be life-changing, world-changing.
It could be.
It could be.
But you don't have to. So a woman prays for her job situation to improve. Nothing changes externally, but inwardly, she begins to feel fear dissolving, not knowing that that's the real root of the situation. Mm-hmm. Her clarity increases. I can see more clearly. That's remember the blind man when he was healed? He said, I once was blind, but now I see. That's the experience we want to have. Mm-hmm. She feels guided to speak up and to apply elsewhere, not just that one place that she was counting on, that, yes, I've got to have a job there. That's the perfect job for me. That's the one I want. Well, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes you don't know what your highest good is.
Yeah.
And so when you focus on that one thing, then what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for an upset.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is I always affirm this or something better. This or something better. And you know what? After a while, after she began to, cast a wider net, she found a job and she was able to, find employment and the kind of work that she loved. And see, if you're just willing to spend just a little bit of time, shifting the inner world, then the outer world will say, hey, it's different now, right? And it'll change.
Yeah, that's good.
So, but prayer didn't force the outcome. See, a lot of people are trying to make stuff happen. If I could just manifest this, you're a good manifester. When you say that to somebody, you're a good manifester, what you're saying is, I'm not a good manifester, right? That's what you're really saying.
And I just want to state for the record that a lot of people will say that I manifested this storm today because I've been talking about wanting snow. Well, I didn't manifest this because this is not what I was holding.
Oh, I don't know
This is not what I was holding in mind.
Yes, you have been holding.
No, I've been holding snow, not
There's
ice.
There's snow out there on the ground.
There is snow on the ground, but I just want to make that clear that,
So you don't want to be blamed?
I don't want to be blamed, no.
For this. Okay, all right. So A man prays repeatedly for healing, but he doesn't get any results. Eventually, his prayer shifts from, God, fix this, to, God, show me how to live whole and well right now. I affirm divine guidance. I receive the wisdom that I need, the people that need to show up in my life, the doctors maybe, the herbalist, the psychiatrist. Sometimes it's not a drinking problem, it's a thinking problem. Say it with me. Oh. Right? And so what we need is not always what we think that we need. So you've got to stay open to the universe, stay open to spirit, to stay open to the divine. What could happen? What good things could happen? Instead of thinking about, well, the other shoe's about to drop. It's getting worse. It's really bad. It's awful. It's terrible. And we do what we call the awfulization of our lives, right? And here we are living out, the soap opera of the antics of the ego persona. And we're really into our drama. Oh my, got a lot of drama.
Yeah, some people like the drama.
And that's why the meditation and quiet is a thing. It's a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing.
It's something that we want to focus on. So awareness, what am I in agreement with right now? What am I agreeing to? See, there's a lot of things you're agreeing to that you don't really know that you're in agreement with. If you're watching something over and over and over, that means you're in agreement with it. Okay. So, number 2 is release. Meditation, let the quiet. Instead of saying meditation, because people have a lot of anxiety around the word meditation. I can't meditate, It's like, just be quiet for a minute.
You don't understand. When I sit down to meditate, the marching band comes through.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So just let go of words, and redefine your words, right? Words mean what you say they mean.
Yeah.
Oh, you give power to them. You give meaning to them. So awareness, what am I in agreement with? You always want to know that. Number 2, release. Get quiet. Number 3, alignment. Affirm the spiritual truth. What's really true about this situation? Well, God is my source. God is abundance. God is absolute love. God is peace. God is whatever I need. God is the source. And so align with the truth. Speak, affirm the truth. That's your prayer. This is all part of your prayer. This is all part of the asking, And then number 4 is action. We're going to be talking about that next time. The 5th principle, which is very powerful, which is the law of action, okay? So then act upon what you're getting, the signs that are showing up all around you, the feeling, the intuition on the inside, follow that. Follow your joy, follow your passion, follow your excitement, and see where it takes you. Let it lead you from one thing to the next and to the next. And take action when you can take action. Now, if you don't know what to do, what should you do? Just be. Just be. Just stay in that presence. I'm okay. I'm in harmony. I'm all right. I didn't have this thing before this moment, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just making space for everything I need to come to me when I need it. Isn't that great? That's what prayer is about. It's you're making room. You know, you're opening up. Emily Cady said, "Desire in the heart is always God tapping at the door of your consciousness." You ever wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and God won't leave you alone? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And you start getting these thoughts. You start getting these intuitive hits. Yeah, that's God talking to you. Better pay attention. It's important to pay attention because God is like this ultimate friend, this companion that is with you throughout your whole life. Was there before you were born and will be there after you pass. And will be there with you through the whole journey. Isn't that great? So you're never alone. So many people feel alone. Once you take that word alone, break it down, and it's all one. Isn't that good? We're all one. Because what is loneliness? It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of emptiness. So when you're empty, what do you need to do? You need to allow what you need to fill it up. What you really need, not what you think you need. Sometimes we think we need drugs. Sometimes we think we need, a this or that or whatever. And those things are all temporary. What you need is infinite supply. God is my source. Everything I need. Can you breathe that in?
I was just really thinking about, actually I was remembering my own journey coming from old ideas about prayer.
Yeah.
And understanding the truth about prayer. And there was a long period of time where I would start to pray something and I would go, no, wait a minute, that's not the right way to do it. I know that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And I would get kind of hung up on, okay, well, what is the best way to pray about this? What do I say as a prayer for this? And I think I eventually learned, and I think why I'm sharing this and why I think it's as important is because if you've had a certain misconception about prayer and you're moving into truth-based prayer, there can be a time where it gets a little, it becomes like a head game.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm not supposed to say that. I think I'm supposed to say this, and I know that's negative. I'm not supposed to state it that way. I'm supposed to state it this way. And I think for me, what I learned was when I got in that crazy mind game thing, I've left the state of prayer. So it's best to just get quiet.
Yeah.
Get quiet and just envision what it is that you see as the answer in that moment, the best that you know. Image it, sit in it, and work with forget about the words. Just sit with the intent and the vision of what it is that you want.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I learned, especially when praying for other people, is to just say, may they experience a moment of grace. May they experience a moment of grace. I have used that one so much in so many circumstances because I don't know what's the right way to necessarily pray for them and their circumstances, And I know that grace is the gift that's extended to us all.
Right.
And so sometimes it's just, may they experience grace.
Yeah. I affirm their highest good.
Yeah.
And I affirm divine grace.
But because I know in our community we have people who are longtime practitioners of prayer in this way, and I know that there are people that are new to this type of prayer. So just know that, that bridge between coming from an ineffective, less effective style of prayer into one that's grounded in truth principle, there's a period there where you're letting go of one and learning a new, and it's okay. It's all right. All prayer is, it's really based on intent. I think that's important to remember, that it's all intent.
Because the words you speak are affecting you, right?
Yeah.
If I say, God, please remove this fear, what am I focused on? Fear.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on fear. So I'm, revving that up. But what I want to do is affirm I am centered in divine peace and guided moment by moment. That's what I'm focused on now. And so I'm thinking about, how does it feel to walk in alignment with? How does it feel to be in perfect peace? That feels pretty good,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah.
So, but, in prayer, we're not about denying the circumstances, This shouldn't be happening. Oh, but it is, right? We're not to fight with reality. A lot of people love to fight with reality. Well, reality is. Remember, we always talk about isness is my business, right? So we want to establish the truth of our being, the truth of life, the principles of life. Establish them in yourself, and you raise your vibration, and you're in a higher agreement with the divine mind, the higher mind that knows exactly what you need and where you need to be in any and every moment, right? So in this moment, it may look like I'm suffering, but I am centered in divine peace and guided moment by moment, right? How many know that everything is temporary?
Yeah.
Everything is temporary. Guess what? It can change. And I love to say that sometimes. Somebody says, well, this is happening right now. And it's like it's a forever thing. It's always going to be. No, this can change.
Yeah.
Just leave the door open for change, right? Let things change. Allow things to change, because they will. As you change, it's like looking in a mirror. I can look in the mirror and say, all right, change. Nothing happens. But when I smile, guess what? The mirror smiles back to me. And that's the way of life. As you smile at life, as you align with life, then life reflects that back to you. Isn't that great?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you got something?
No, I just was, I was just thinking that, in this world you will have tribulation.
Yeah.
Jesus said. And having stuff go on in the physical realm, I think are just the things that drive us to our spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that doesn't mean that as a person that's focused on my spiritual being and my spiritual journey, that I don't still have. You always have.
You're still a human being.
Yes.
Right?
As long as you're in a human form, you're going to have these things that happen and occur. And, but it's always an invitation, I think, for us to take it into spirit, take it into the,
Right. Right. Yeah.
into the inner workings.
Yeah. And that's where we can hold space for each other. Hold space for yourself. I know the prayer chaplains talk a lot about holding space and how important that is. And many times, you say, well, how can you hold space? You can't grab it. What does that mean? Tell us what that means, Leah.
Well, one of the things that we talk about as prayer chaplains is that when you sit with someone and you're holding space, it's almost like you're creating a bubble. And in that bubble is full potentiality.
Yeah.
It's like anything
is possible.
Anything is possible. And you're just holding this invisible bubble for them where you're not reacting. They're safe to be there. They're safe to say what they want to say and share with no judgment from me, no input from me.
Just being present.
Just being present and holding that bubble of space where absolutely anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Anything.
All
Everything.
potential is there. And what a sacred service and gift it is for the person that gets to do that for another person.
Yeah.
To just be able to be that presence and to say, I see you, I hear you. I recognize what you're saying with no judgment, with no attachments, with no input about anything, but just to be able to hold that for them and recognize the highest outcome for that. Not to get sucked into anything that they may be saying that is painful or negative or chaotic or whatever.
And
You're just sitting holding that.
And sometimes it's important to, when you're with somebody, it's the act of allowing everything just to be as it is. You are loved as you are.
Yeah.
You are loved as you are. You are enough. This situation, yes, we see it. Okay, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. But we also know that there's a quantum field of potentiality, that this can change for you. Not because you're better than anybody else, not because you're smarter or not as smart. It's not about that. It's about your beingness. It's who you are.
And I want to say that I have found, my experience has been that people want to be seen and heard and validated. And so a lot of times when somebody comes to you and says, I have this going on, just to be able to say, well, tell me about it.
Yeah.
And to let them do that with no input, no judgment, to know that they're being seen and heard. And then at the end of what they say, being able to say, I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't experienced exactly what you're talking about, but I hear what you're saying, and I hear, the pain or the sorrow or whatever is behind it.
Right.
People just want to be recognized, seen, and heard. So
I'm in pain.
And in doing...
Can you see that?
Yes, and in them being able to have that space, that sacred space where they can do that with you, oftentimes that in and of itself will somehow heal the situation.
Yeah, because it's an inside job.
Yeah.
It's not something, the releasement is them talking about it, expressing it, getting it out on the table.
Yeah.
So that you can see it more clearly. And then with the energy and moving into a positive state, about the situation, then you can deal with it. Then you can work with it. Then you can manage it. Then you can change it. Then you can, allow it to change into something else,
Yeah.
It's helping people to release what they're hung up on without judging them, without saying, you're wrong, you're not doing it right. Why, if you did it this way, it's like, whenever we have meditation or meetings with people, I like to tell people, we're not here to fix anybody. We're not here to tell anybody that they're wrong. We're just here to be a supportive, healing energy, right? And we allow people to be where they are. And then once they decide enough is enough, then they will start to move on and things will change on their insides. That's where you have to have a little bit of faith and realize it's not all outward, it's an internal thing.
Yeah.
It's an inward process. And when they're able to do that, then many times people are healed in the moment. It's like you had this gigantic problem, this challenge, you don't know what you're going to do. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, yeah, today I'm just going to go through my day. I'm going to go get something to eat, I'm going to have a little fun.
Yeah.
Do something good.
So I was just thinking that sometimes the idea that someone wants us to pray for them is like, I don't know what to say. Maybe I won't say. We get.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking how just if you're just someone says, "Would you pray with me about XYZ?" and you say, "Absolutely," and if you say nothing more than, not a formalized prayer, maybe the way they're expecting, but if you do nothing more than say, let's just imagine a space, a sacred space that's full of potentiality.
Yeah.
And why don't you just speak into this space what it is you desire?
Yeah.
And by doing that, they're then focusing on the things that they want, and maybe they can take that away from your prayer with them.
Right.
I think that's one of the scariest things sometimes that people get asked is, would you pray with me? What do I say? But just holding, just creating that space for them is...
Sometimes we get so worried about what we're supposed to say that we don't realize that we don't need to say anything.
Right.
I'm just an affirming presence in the moment. I'm a healing presence.
Yeah.
Wow, think about that. There's this power inside you that radiates from you. And when you can just be that healing presence.
Yes, because when we're talking about holding sacred space for someone, no words have to be spoken. It really is an energetic, just sitting with your intention to hold that space for them.
Yeah.
There is a feeling within that that resonates to them.
Right.
Just doing that for them.
Well, we've been talking for almost an hour.
Well, that's what happens when we don't have anybody. We can just go.
I know. I don't know if there's anybody out there or not. I'm assuming that they're real people.
Well, how about we just close this talk down and...
Okay.
If you have questions or something you want us to expound on further, maybe next week when we get together before we get started.
Yeah.
Drop a comment in the Facebook thread and we'll try to address it.
Absolutely.
If something made an impact, drop it.
Yeah, we want to know.
We want to know.
Are you being
was it helpful?
Helped? Are you getting it?
Yeah, was it helpful?
Are you having those revelations?
Yeah.
Those are so important in our lives. And so let's take a moment to think about. There's a lot going on in the world today. You can't fix it, I can't fix it. But we can make a difference. And so let us breathe and get still. Let's do what we know to do, what works, what we know works. If you'd like, you can gently close your eyes or keep your eyes open, whatever works for you. Soften your gaze and breathe. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it gently. And again, breathing in peace and breathing out any tension or upset or fear. Releasing it now. Allow your body to relax and your mind to settle. And as we become still, we know and remember that prayer doesn't begin with words, but with awareness. We let go of the outer noise, the lists, the stories, the concerns. We release those invisible agreements that we've made with hurry, fear, or limitation. And in this moment, we choose a new agreement for safety and the well-being of all. Hold all in your heart. Calling in divine order into our nation and the situations that are going on in our nation and in the world and in our lives. And if you'd like, you can call out some of the names of the people that you just want to hold in this moment. Maybe just gently speak their name. I know sometimes when I pray, I get little pictures of people in my mind, and as they go by in my thoughts, I say, I love you, peace, peace be with you, peace be with you, peace be with mom, with dad, with the children, peace be with my pets, peace be with my world. And so with gratitude and with grace, we say, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit, for the life, the love, and the joy that we feel for our community. Through that higher power, through that higher mind, through that peaceful, loving presence. We say, so it is, and so be it. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hey, if you'd like to make a donation to Unity, we would really appreciate it, especially since we're not meeting, we're kind of not in the same routine that we normally are.
Yep.
I invite you to go to our website and make a donation. And, help us keep the lights on and keep things going, and so far so good. The lights are still on. So we still got power. And so we're grateful. We're grateful. So we appreciate anything that you can do. You can give by through the website. You can give through PayPal. You can give in so many different ways. And you can send a check if you like. And we appreciate all the folks that send a little extra, through the holiday season. We really appreciate that. And, we just pray that as you are blessed, that you're able to send forth and to send, a little piece of that good that comes your way and share it with Unity so that we can have everything that we need and we can be the community that you need us to be. And so
let's say together.
Yes.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We love you, and we'll see